Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and another Monday, and it's a holiday today. So if you're doing your shipping, or you probably have found out by now that you're not going to be able to get a pickup today, and it's not really due until tomorrow anyway. So if you're rushing, making that mad rush before drop-off time at the post office, you don't need to go so fast. So just a little flustered today because I've been dealing with eBay. In fact, I got off the phone with eBay 2 minutes before showtime here, and I'll be talking to you about that here in a minute. More of the same, guys. More of the same. So if you're watching with us right now live, please put your comments, your questions in the chat. I'll try to catch up. I know Jenna was telling me that a lot of times I'm way behind you guys, and I'll try not to ramble. I try not to give you long, lengthy answers, but that's just kind of me. It's the way I roll. Most of you guys have been watching me for a while now, know that. If you're watching after the fact, sorry you couldn't make it, but please comment down below, put your questions down below, and I'll do everything I can to get back to you. I've been working kind of a lot of hours lately and just spending a lot of time just doing stuff around the house, still setting up my garage a little bit, and I haven't had the kind of time I've wanted to have to really get into some of your comments and questions and stuff like that. So I apologize for that. But no matter how you're watching the program today or tomorrow or next week, whenever it is, hit the like button. That's all I ask. And for the time that I take to do this, 2 seconds out of your day is all I'm asking for. So if you could do that, I'd certainly appreciate it. Let's see who we have in the house today. We have Ping G, Biff Boffo, we have Biscuit Butt, we have Gail Carlson, Savage Pickers, GT, the Disgruntled Octopus, Prosser Independent Trading from the UK, KJ BC Vintage, Ed. I'm surprised Ed's with us today. I thought he was in Vegas for the Seller Remix. He may be, but if you're taking time to watch and you're out here, then awesome. Thanks for doing that. Tommy Bernard is in the house. Deportes en el Cuerdo, Elio Mora, and Aurora 3K. So thank you guys for being here with us today. And the main topic for discussion, it may not be the bulk of what I talk about today, because I have other things I wanted to kind of talk to you about. But eBay is placing ads for I think it's Vault. If you go to E-commerce Bytes, there's a article about it talking about how some people are reporting that like after the second or third photo in their listing, in the actual listing, it's showing like a video of like an advertisement for the eBay Vault. Now, I'm not sure if this is category specific or whatnot, but to me, it's kind of a sad trend, and I'll just put my opinion out like that. As it is, eBay is already taking the time to show our competitors listings when they check out. If even in the app, like if you're looking at someone's listing in the app and you scroll down too far in the listing, you'll see other similar items that may have a better price, pull people away. They're attracted to our listing through the search, and they clicked on our item and they click away to another person's listing. And I guess those are the times that you don't even notice it. But when they buy the item and they place those same listings for that same item at the bottom of the page, and it basically takes the buyer less than a few minutes to reach out to you to cancel the sale to save a couple bucks. It's somewhat annoying. And just thought I'd make you guys aware of that. A lot of you guys don't have time to read like e-commerce bytes and things like that, but it's, it should be done. And that's just what I'll say there. And to be honest with you, I'm getting very, very frustrated with eBay in the sense of just personally with my account. It's almost making me afraid to really speak my mind, if I'm being honest with you, because I have now received within a month and a half, and you guys know what I've been dealing with. The last month and a half, I've received no less than 10 Vero I think the one I got today, that's what I was on the phone with eBay about. If I can find it without clicking around here. It's a different type of Vero. It's a Vero parallel import policy violation. Okay, so I picked this up on Saturday. It's a sealed Calvin Klein cologne. There's nothing wrong with it. Perfect condition, brand new, and listed it for like 20 bucks. I picked it up for $5. I think I listed it for 20 bucks because it wasn't worth really. I mean, sealed cologne, Calvin Klein, you think it's going to be worth like 20, 30 bucks on the resale market. And that's kind of where it is on the low end of that. Listed it over the weekend. And of course, I actually woke up today with no messages, and I went back to this account because I toggle back and forth between multiple accounts that I'm working throughout the day. And I get really weird. I get 2 emails from eBay over the same item. And it says, we had to remove your listing because it didn't follow our Vero parallel import policy. Importing certain products from other countries without the rights owner's permission may violate their intellectual property rights. And says your listing was reported by the rights owner listed below because it offers to ship to Europe without their permission. Shipping this item into Europe violates their intellectual property rights. Don't ask me how. You can sell this product, but only if you remove shipping options to Europe, including the United Kingdom, and do not offer to ship to these countries in your listing's description. Okay. And this is what you need to do next. Please ensure your current and future listings follow this policy. So I wasn't aware, and maybe that's just my true ignorance or what, but I didn't know that, I guess Calvin Klein doesn't want their cologne shipped to Europe. But what I find odd, and again, I always contact eBay to put it on record. Nothing's happened to my account yet, despite all these rights owners contacting me, right? Or contacting eBay, right? I really believe that and I don't believe that to be true, because while I was on hold with the rep, there's dozens of these, and their policies are not set up. About half of them are not set up to exclude the UK yet. So you're telling me that a Calvin Klein rights owner reached out about my one little box of cologne when there's sellers selling just dozens of these with multi listings of this with full rights to ship to the UK. Yet they only reported me. They took the time to report one listing, but not every one of them. If they're, so you're saying that this rep was really trying to cut down on all these Calvin Klein colognes being shipped to the EU. So they hit up on my one little listing that I got at a yard sale. I have a hard time with that, and pretty fired up. Again, if there is someone eBay in the back room messing with me, hey, I hope you're having a good time at my expense. Okay. It's very frustrating. I just want to sell on eBay, and I really don't feel like it's on the up and up here. And of course, a frontline rep on the phone ain't going to know what's going on in the back room. Okay. So, again, hey, I'm not surprised if this is happening. Now, I'm not alleging that eBay is doing this, but if it is happening, I'm not surprised. I'm really to the point where anything that I do wrong is being reported almost instantly, like someone's on it, right? Like I'm in their stack of papers to watch, and there's no reason for that. I make a channel. I have a channel that's here to help other eBay sellers and to maybe give them my honest feedback and experience. And if somehow that butt hurts somebody, I apologize, but I don't apologize. Okay. I apologize because I want you guys to go away. Do your job. There's plenty of things that you could be doing other than what I believe could be happening. Okay. Allegedly could be happening here. And it just needs to stop. I had a violation, a UV sanitizer. This is last week, a UV sanitizer that I've had listed for months from the Sharper Image. Yet you get rid of that under a safety policy, saying that it was pulled due to a recall, right? but it was the wand they sell. It was the UV wand. Somehow it was recalled. This one is just the container you put the phone in to, sanitize with UV rays or whatever it is. Why wasn't it a problem when I listed it months ago? And why is it a problem now when there's other people selling it? So again, if you took everything down, take all the Calvin Kleins down that had that problem, I wouldn't even have made the phone call. I would have just said, I didn't know any better, and I'm going to move on and learn from it. But it's the same thing. It's like Groundhog's Day. The same thing keeps happening over and over again, and I just want it to stop. So that's my little rant today. Don't know if anyone has experienced 10 different eBay removal high priority messages, but 10 removals in the last month and a half. I guess I could say that I feel blessed in that eBay hasn't taken me down yet. They haven't, suspended me. I guess I could be what you guys might, a few of you out there might say that I'm whining about, crying about, but I'm not. I'm just frustrated. And you know what? If anybody out there has never been frustrated before, I guess, hey, what can I say? We're all human. I'm human. And this show happened to just start 2 minutes after getting off the phone with eBay. And so I'm a little more fired up and frustrated than if I would have had like 10 minutes to just think about it and get ready for the show. So that's my issue here. I hope you guys have a better start to your Monday than I have, but I can't complain. I mean, the sales over the weekend weren't bad. They weren't great. They were okay. Just thinking that I'm really putting a lot of time and effort into my store. And I don't know if maybe just the sales aren't just not starting up yet. Don't know what experiences you guys have now. The folks that are just killing it and have been killing it may not even notice it. But I'm wondering if you guys have noticed any difference in traffic and sales from, say, about a month ago. As far as my sales and traffic, I got to tell you, I didn't look at it, so maybe I should do that. But my sales and traffic, my sales are down a little bit. My traffic is over the weekend is about the same, is on par. So, and you'd think that if historically sales have been slow in the summer, so June, July, August, and then it bleeds into September, that we would see an uptick in sales from that point, or I keep saying sales, but traffic from that point to, say, the beginning of October. And I'm just not seeing it. So I don't know. Could be along the lines of what Tommy's told us a lot, and that is, your traffic is throttled. If you show eBay that you have the ability to handle more traffic through your sales, your listing, all the things that you do, that it's quite possible that will get throttled, but that'll be increased to where you see more traffic. But I don't know. I'm hoping that as we get more customers, let's hope we get more customers and eBay's not losing more customers, that the numbers we're seeing with traffic will go up. My impressions are my organic is barely up and my promoted is down, even though my promotion rates are even higher than they have been. So that's just me. Just wanted to share with you guys what I've been doing in my results. Please let me know what you guys have going on in the chat or down below. Ping G says, hi, John. How you doing, Ping G? Being on the West Coast, I always have to adjust the times for YouTube videos. For me, it's almost going to always be 3 p.m. on the West Coast, 6 p.m. Eastern time until we kind of change it up. But right now, I think that's a sweet spot for me. Biff Boffo says, 2 weeks ago, my best week in a long time. Last week, my worst in a long time. I do a volume business with low average sell price, so it's hard to understand the drop off. I mean, we try to come up with some philosophies here. It's hard to say, really. Biscuit Butt, what's up, FAE fam? Gail Carlson says hello from Kansas City. How you doing, Gail? And then we have Savage Pickers in the house. GT says hola. The Disgruntled Octopus says morning, everyone. Morning if you're in the UK, I suppose. Prosser says, hi all. KJBC Vintage, hello everyone. Ed from maybe Vegas, maybe you can confirm that down below. I haven't gotten to his comment. And then Tommy's in the house. Jenna is on the ball, and she hasn't really decorated. That was a fake decoration from last week. That's what you're talking about. She's hanging out in the living room. She might jump on the chat if she takes time to look at the video here. Process is hit the button, the like button as you roll in. Thank you. I appreciate that. Deportes en el Cuerdo says, hi, John. Here we are. Here we are. How many of you guys are in Vegas for the Boss Reseller deal that they have this week? Of course, I'm not going to that. It's just one of those things where, yeah, I know it's an investment in your business, but do I want to spend, what do they want? Like $300? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know. I wasn't invited to go. I got the little link to look into it, but I didn't even venture past the link to even see how much it was, because honestly, I didn't think I was going to get anything even worth that much. Now, not to saying that other people won't, just the amount of time I spend in policies and dealing with different things. I really feel like I don't need to spend that kind of money to, learn anything on eBay. There's many learning experiences that I get without paying for it every day. You guys know that. KJBC Vintage, doing great. Now that I'm not on the phone with eBay, and the rep was cool. US rep, but of course they give them the company line, and they, tell you to reach out to the Vero rights owner and all that. So it's just for me, it's more of having that SR number and having the call on record that shows, hey, I did my due diligence to try to reach out. Ilio Mora says hi from Miami. Savage Picker says sales were like crickets today. And for me, I mean, look at my traffic. My traffic says I'm down, but a lot down. But I think that's because today's traffic report isn't finished. And as like yesterday, it showed that my traffic was up. It shows that Saturday, my traffic was up. And for me, it's just about getting all the stuff up now. I went to yard sale on Saturday. Biscuit Butt and I and Jenna, we went to a bunch of community yard sales. If you saw my video over the weekend, it was one of those just impromptu videos. I was out there over the weekend going through the stuff that I picked up. And I thought maybe I make a little yard sale video, because I really feel like I implemented a lot of the things that I talked about in the video, most of the things, not all of them. And it really worked. And I learned some things based on just the different communities we went to. And I spent like $300 something, and I picked up a lot of good stuff. I think I've already sold about $100 something worth. So, picked up things out of my comfort zone. I picked up some like porcelain figurines that are numbered, that like are from different collections, and that type of thing. And it was funny because we were early to this sale, and they had them all laid out. And the lady, you could tell she just wanted to get rid of them. They were, I guess her family member had passed away, and she's just trying to get rid of them. And I had kind of looked at the ones I thought were interesting. There's other ones there really nice, but I just grabbed the ones that I thought were interesting from maybe a guy's perspective. I don't know. Made an offer, said, would you take, these were like price $2, $3, $5. So I said, would you take 30 for all of them? And she's like, no, I won't take 30 for all of them. I only want 20. And so she wouldn't take 30. So she took 20. And I kind of felt like, the idea of going back and saying, well, what do you want for all of them is kind of out the window, because she just wanted hardly anything for them. And I guess I could have, but it was just really weird, saying, well, then what do you want for all these items? So like one was like from like 1996, and they're really, really good condition. No chips or anything like that, just really nice. And they're numbered on the bottom. So have to get into those. I'm not really a seller that sells those kind of things, but I figured that I would get in there and just open up my comfort zone a little bit and start learning new items. Let's see. Aurora was right on time. And then KJBC Vintage, my promoted listings are down almost non-existent, and I adjusted to 7% on an experiment. I get more organic views. I got more organic views. I have my organic views over the last 30 days are up by 0.7% and are down 8.7%, even though I have pretty high. I use a lot of the promoted listing rates that are suggested, and it's still down. Go figure. But when I do my accounting, like I said, about 60% of my items are promoted. The other 40% are I'm not being charged a promoted listing rate on. And so again, I just think that eBay is it's just something's not right, and I just can't put my finger on it. Ed's still driving on the 15, and if you're driving the 15 on a Monday from California, it shouldn't be that bad. So hopefully all is well for you. R. Warren says hello from Palm Springs. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Sandra Howard says left a message last chat that I started free shipping. I rarely get no return. I rarely get returns. My sales have increased significantly, consistently for 3 weeks. Just an update. Yeah, and you do those little things. eBay will give you higher placement for just simply having free returns. Generally, I think that's a great idea. If you are already a top-rated seller and you offer free returns, it's going to give you a 10% discount on your final value fees. But if your item is really heavy and it's one of those items that could be returned, they didn't like it, that type of thing, you're going to be on the hook for in free shipping too. You're going to be on the hook for giving them that money back that you spent for that outbound shipping, because it's part of the price of the item. So there is no option to deduct that when you refund the item. Kevin Hawthorne's in the house. Thanks, Kevin, for hanging out with us. The grumpy Iwegian flipper. Iwegian, where's Iwe? I don't even know where that is. So that's I would think that, okay, I'm thinking now that's Iowa. So greetings from Iowa. Took a minute. It finally sunk in. Iwegian. Is that what they call folks from Iowa? Is Iwegian? Interesting. Never heard of that before. Let's see. We got GT has been selling for 20 years and maybe 10 cancellations ever. Yesterday and today I had 4. Wow. That you had to cancel due to maybe being out of stock, or maybe something was broken. eBay is really, 1 or 2, depending on your volume, won't really kill you. But if you don't have a high enough volume, it can really, really hurt your account. So yeah, be very careful with that. Like for instance, if let's say I have one item that I'm selling on eBay and I've cross-listed over to Mercari. If they both happen to sell, guess who wins? eBay, right? Because Mercari has my lower end stuff. I'm not making a whole lot. I'm kind of just moving merchandise, and they're more forgiving, at least from what I've noticed at Mercari. And so if you can avoid canceling it, maybe reach out to the buyer, have that communication with the buyer, and get them to say, please just give me my money back. Maybe that would be enough to just cancel the listing because of buyer request. But I'm into account protection. You got to protect your account, because even when you make a mistake, maybe eBay, you think eBay, we had a problem with eBay listing our items again without our permission, and we didn't know what was happening. And that hasn't happened in a while, but maybe it's still happening. You got to be in account protection mode, because nobody's going to protect your account if you don't. Savage Picker says, received an offer, and before I could respond, got a message asking me to decline their offer because they changed their mind. Nothing changes a customer's mind quicker than a lower price. Okay. And that's all. They don't care about you. And I've always thought this is something you probably never hear on another channel, but buyers are selfish people. Now, I'm not saying every buyer is selfish, but in general, buyers are just looking out for their own bottom line. So if they are looking to fulfill a need to buy this particular item for $20, and their budget was around $20, maybe they're hoping to get it cheaper than that. They settle on your item, and then they find it for $5 cheaper in the recommended, here's some recommended items. Yeah, they're gonna not even think about you. They're gonna think about their own bottom line. Rarely do you get buyers that are gonna think, wow, if I maybe I shouldn't cancel. I know I want to save $5, but it's not right. I don't want to. I'd feel bad about this seller. All the work that they put into the listing. They're gonna have to go back in and relist the item, and it's just gonna be maybe a hardship if it's a more expensive item. eBay's going to not necessarily take the money out of their available funds. the way it should work, they're going to allow the funds that I gave them to go to their bank, and they're going to hit their available funds with a negative balance. And maybe I shouldn't do. Buyers don't think like that. Okay, buyers don't even think about what sellers have to go through, and I don't fault the buyers. Just the way it is. It's just ignorance. They're not going to know that this is the case. All they know is I've got a $20 item here. I have a chance to get it for 15, and all I have to do is click a few buttons to cancel the sale, and I get what I want. Let's see. Rachel's flipping in East Tennessee. My sales have been down since they did last changes. I don't know what I don't know what you're selling. Maybe it's category specific. It's really hard to say. When you're someone like me and you sell a wide variety of things, it's really hard to really catch trends. Like, for instance, Tommy, I use him as a reference a lot because I know what he sells. He sells shoes, and he knows probably to the T. Like, this time of year, my sales should be great. This time of year, they do tend to fall down. And he'll know if, like right now, if it's supposed to be good or bad. He'll know when he'll get slow sales if something's not right. So for me, I just got to look at the trend as a whole and just look at the market as a whole, and not necessarily as if I was selling in a certain niche, if that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, it says, sounds like someone's on your back. Ridiculous. I think so. And then Tommy says, maybe they are distributors, but why would they care about me selling one little bottle of this when they have, I saw at least 3 listings that had more than 10 of these being sold, and they weren't the same seller. I'm wondering why they're not playing hardball with each other and worrying about my one little listing. And the story that, Calvin Klein, contact Calvin Klein, and they gave the Calvin Klein email address, contact them to dispute it if you want to dispute it. Well, the only thing I got to dispute is that the dude that's doing his job or her job ain't doing a very good job if they're worried about my item with one listing, and there's like a handful of sellers that are selling a ton of them that are being sent to the UK. So it just, something ain't right there. Pat Yeeman says, hi, how you doing, Pat? Thanks for hanging out with us. Prosser says, I've had the odd Vero I passed, like I'm sure a lot of us has, but I've never seen anyone targeted like you. I've never had that. I mean, you guys have seen videos in the past. It's like, I get one Vero and I'm like, oh, it's a video, right? It's like a rarity. Here comes a new video to talk about this one-off experience, but it's not even a one-off experience. I wake up in the morning looking at my messages, expecting something new to pop up on a new listing that I put up under the guise of some odd policy that I've never even been aware of before. Tommy says, find a niche in pre-owned goods, get away from liquidation, live happy. This is from a yard sale. Someone was, how much you want for it? $5. I'm like, well, I know cologne Calvin Klein is worth more than $5. The stuff that I bought recently in those liquidation pallets, those are brand new. Been working, trying to find the market for those, and hopefully that starts to pick up. Haven't sold anything yet, but it may be that people aren't really buying stuff for Christmas yet. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who here is selling stuff that could be really sold for, let's say, Christmas or the holiday gift giving, and really hasn't seen any uptick in sales? A lot of people go out and buy toys and things like that to resell for this time of year. I wonder if anyone's watching that buys that type of item. How are your sales been, say, over the last month? Have they gone up, they've stayed stagnant, or have they gone down? I'm just really curious about that. Yes, says sales just dropped off last 3 days, no sales. Prosser says, I've had pretty good sales. Barbara Guvin, I've had my postage stamps listings removed and everyone else is still selling theirs. And isn't it frustrating when they give you just a generic answer and it doesn't even apply to the listing being pulled, but they tell you not to list it again. So you're kind of stuck not being able to list it. And if you wanted to cross post it, well, you don't even have the listing anymore. Or if you wanted to just pull it out of your listed inventory, pick it and just pull it out. If you have multiple bins or whatever, you don't even know where to look. You have to go through and hunt for the thing. It's just, to me, they should allow you to have access to the listing. If you have your location in your SKU, where is it at so I can pull it and maybe liquidate it, sell it somewhere else or whatever. And that's another frustrating part of it. I knew where this Calvin Klein was because I listed it over the weekend. So I knew exactly where to find it. But something like that UV sanitizer, I have no idea where that thing is. I didn't even bother looking. Sandra says, since I've added free return shipping, my sales have gone up consistently and significantly up. Okay. Biff Boffo says, my October sales sucked last year and I blamed it on the fall update. No update this year. We also bad so far. Maybe it's just October. Maybe it is. Maybe it's that transition, right? Where people are starting to maybe think about Christmas. Maybe they don't really start thinking about Christmas until after the Halloween holiday has passed. I don't know. I just, wonder what's going on. Or maybe again, this is no news to anyone. We're in a bad economy. And when you're dealing with a bad economy, we talk about this on maybe every live stream, but we're still dealing with an economy that, we're dealing with a recession. People are a little bit more frugal when it comes to spending. Eddie says, sales are dead in the water as soon as October started, but most of my shirts are for the summer. This is my first winter selling clothing. Only have less than 100 hoodies, sweaters, and long sleeves. Now, I can tell you that that's one thing that I held on to. So I received a pallet of new with tags, hoodies, jackets, coats, snow pants, and I've sold out on most of those since I think the end of August to like the beginning of October. And I'm sure I would be selling more if I had more to sell. So it was a wise idea to hold on to those. I'm glad I did. It's a seasonal thing, so I'm not surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised because it could be that everyone else was selling theirs, but mine were just sitting. But I had them priced right, had them priced to make a profit and to move them, and it worked out. So again, that I've learned that if I get that type of merchandise, and you're going to get that kind of merchandise if you buy liquidation, get a bunch of jackets and pants and heavy winter clothing, that it's probably a better idea just to wait until the end of summer to list those things. Aurora 3K says, I've only been getting feedback on a third or less of my sold items every month. I have 0 returns, 0 late shipments, 0 problems, but I'm getting no feedbacks. What % feedbacks do you get? I think that it's like 1 for every 5 or 10. I mean, if you're getting 1 out of every 3, that's actually pretty good. And honestly, to me, no feedback is good feedback. I'm happy when a buyer buys something, 30 days pass, I never hear from them again. I simply just move on and happy that they weren't pressed into leaving. Let's say that they just dealt with it. Maybe they weren't 100% happy, but they didn't want to bother with it. A lot of people in the world of, look, I can make it work. I just don't want to be bothered with it. I don't want any drama. I don't want to deal with it. And they just say, you know what, I'm going to move on. And that's just going to be the end of it. But if eBay goes in there and starts probing and prodding a buyer into leaving feedback, I might actually hear what I don't want to hear. So for me, I'm happy if they don't leave any feedback. Let's see. Tommy says traffic doubled this weekend. Sales went up a small bit. Definitely not in line with traffic. That's why I don't even look at it anymore. Yeah, but it's okay. So if I get normally 50,000 impressions, and let's say I get 1,000 folks looking at my listings, and that's kind of the average. I still might have days where I'm not making any sales. I mean, it's like they look at my listings for whatever reason, they click off and go somewhere else. And then there'll be days that I have a lot of sales and my traffic's down. So it's just an indicator. The more opportunities, the more traffic, and that's what that is. The more opportunities that you get, in theory, over the long haul, you're going to get more sales over a period of time. So one-offs are going to happen. The fact that you had double the traffic, but your sales only went up a small amount could be a number of things. But I think a lot of folks would love to have just their average amount of sales this weekend. I'm hoping that everyone, we can get our sales to a point where, they're gradually going. I really don't think that we're going to have a knockout kick butt Q4. I mean, I think I talked about this early in the year, just the way things are kind of looking and shaping up. I'm not all that optimistic, and I hate to say that, about the idea of just a kick butt Q4. Now, does that mean we're not going to get sales? No, I think we're still going to get sales. I think sales are going to happen, but what you're seeing right now, it's going to be a little bit better than that. But anything like it was 2 years ago, I highly, highly doubt it. If I'm just being 100% honest with you, the way I feel, and I hope I'm wrong. Hope that we can come back and laugh at this stupid comment that I made back on October 10th about how Q4 is just going to be a dud. But for what I'm seeing, I'm just not. I'm going to do everything I can to keep my inventory up, keep trying to sell and buy and sell as many things as I can. But I'm going to also temper my expectations. We're almost at 100. If we can get one more person to watch this, I'd appreciate it. We're at 99 people watching right now. Hit that like button, guys, if you just enjoy having there we go. We're at 100. So thanks for tuning in. If you guys enjoy just the discussion about reseller talk, whether it's good or bad, and that's the thing I wish eBay would understand. If eBay is watching this, look, I don't hate you. Someone there doesn't like me, but that's fine. Hopefully we can all get along one day. Ping G says, I started using promoted listings at 3%. My sales have increased. The higher number you go, it's going to affect your placement in search. So it just what is your willingness? What is your tolerance for the fees that you're paying eBay? Are you willing to go more? And of course, the more fees you give eBay, the less profit you're going to get. Or do you just want to go bare minimum and wait it out? So we all have different business models. And for me, if I can make just a little bit, 2-3x my money, I'm good, and I'm willing to pay a little bit more for that. Ed just got to the hotel parking lot, so that was 20 minutes ago. So I'm way behind you guys. So be safe, Ed. Probably be here while you get unpacked and everything. So enjoy your time while you're here in Vegas. I'm probably going to, for those of you who are out here in Vegas, I'm probably going to be out there with Biscuit Butt on Wednesday. I know my buddy Mike Camparelli has been trying to get a hold of me, and his email bounced. So when I sent him a reply to his email, but supposed to meet up with hopefully him and some other folks that watch the show. So if you're out here on Wednesday evening, somewhere downtown by the Golden Nugget, kind of go there, hang out, and just kind of enjoy the ambiance and good, one-on-one discussions is kind of what I'm looking forward to. So hopefully you guys can make it if you're out this way. Tiffany M. Law's in the house, so thanks for hanging out with us. Grumpy old Iwegian Flipper says, you're on YouTube shining the light on eBay dark side, and eBay doesn't like it. eBay cannot come right out and say so without facing lawsuits. So they use their bogus policies to take your items down. But why even bother? I'm just a small fish. They took out Chris from Daily Refinement, and the dude's still making videos. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't remember him making a whole lot of negative content anyway about eBay, but it ain't like I'm going to go away, So eBay, just play nice. If you play nice and do right by the sellers, there's nothing but good content that's going to come out. I can promise you that. Tommy says, not an investment. It's a money grab from viewers. Biff Boffo says, I'm dubious about all these meetups, not for me. And, that's the money grab that Tommy was talking about. It's a money grab to go to these events. And I think there's something to that. If you're new, if you're just trying to get your bearings, and you want to learn, and you just are eager to learn, and you're committing to doing this full time, then I can see you going to one of those events, benefiting from it and writing it off anyway. And that's experience you're going to be able to take with you. That's probably going to advance you a little bit over and above someone who's starting out that doesn't have that experience. But for me, I'd just rather go out there after, all that's done, and just hang out with the sellers if we can meet up, and it doesn't cost me a dime. Well, maybe, because we're going to be by the casinos. And so maybe I'll still play the machines or goof around with poker, but at least I had fun doing it, right? Savage Pickers says, traffic and sales down and have been since July. I was hoping sales would be better by now, but it's no dice. Well, maybe it's just me then. Again, I had a couple $250 sales days this weekend, and I guess that's better than what it was. I mean, I was having some really bad days before that. So, and all the stuff that I just bought, I'm in for $600 worth of out of pocket, and we're talking about $7,000 to $8,000 worth of merchandise. And that's not retail. That's what I have it listed for, and I think my prices are fair. Hopefully that'll change because I haven't really had any action on those. And these stupid shoes you can see are still behind me. No Agenda 77 says up, down, up, down, up, down. Overall sales are consistent, though, if I look at it weekly. Yeah, and you got to look at it at the bigger picture. Look at your month over month. I mean, honestly, I was at a point where I was making $10,000 to $12,000 in sales, not profit, but that's what eBay shows me. So $120,000, $130,000 is what I was making every year. This year, I don't think that's going to happen. I haven't looked at it as for the year, but I know that I'm down, like in some cases 25, 30, 40%. And that's just not good. I know, because my savings is taking kind of a hit as well. Biff Boffo says traffic could be bad because this is the last 3-day weekend of the year with nice weather. And you might be right. Out in the US, it's Columbus Day, no mail, federal holiday type of thing. And so, you might be dealing with a lot of weather. I did see a report that it's going to start getting nasty with weather here in the next, say, week or two for a lot of the United States. So just something to keep in mind. That may help sales, believe it or not. When people stay inside because of the weather, they tend to do more shopping. So let's hope that's the case. Not the nasty weather part, but at least staying inside. Noah Designs in the house. Hey, John, I just made it to the live. Been crazy busy this weekend holiday. Well, that's a good thing. What is funny is I did my shipping, got a big bag of my shipping done last night, which is customary. I do it while I'm watching the football game. And I wake up this morning and I launched a big a 10% off sale through Prime Lister's tool to give the discount. And I woke up to 5 sales on Prime Lister this morning. So that was kind of cool. It's pretty sad, though, when you're getting more sales on Mercari than when you are on eBay. So definitely something to look into. If your sales are slow, look into either Etsy if you have the collectibles. And I know Etsy's been kind of slow for a lot of people too. But, clothing, Poshmark, Mercari for everything else, and just give that a shot. I mean, regardless of what tool you use. And I didn't even put the link down below. I can later, but honestly, it's not even about whether or not what service you use for me, even though I'm supposed to kind of give good, good reviews for Prime Lister, and they're great. But I don't want it to come off that that's the only reason why I bring it up. I really bring it up because I really believe in cross listing. I think it's going to help some sellers really get their sales going. Ping G says the last eBay Open I attended, eBay paid for the hotel, and I think I paid a low registration fee. That's pretty awesome. I know that's something similar was with Ed, and I know that they'll do that kind of thing for you, and depending on the situation. Bling Bling Factor Australia. Hi, John and everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning for you. Just Janice says, been on eBay 20 years, never seen such horrible sales, not doing the race to the bottom. Some of my items are $30 below what eBay suggests. Offers to peeps go nowhere. Yeah, that suggested price that eBay gives you is one based on like previous data. And if the market's down anyway, it's going to be really under what it probably should be priced at. I would say, look at the number of listings. So if you have, say, item A and you want to get, let's say when you were looking at the comps, it said you're going to get $30 for that item, but now eBay's suggesting 25. Well, don't necessarily look at what eBay's suggesting. Open up another tab, do a search for that item, go in and see what lately the item's been selling for. Now, of course, focus on the condition you're selling that item in, and then go back over to the unsolds, the ones that are listed, and look to see how many people are undercutting the price, because that race to the bottom might be a real thing. But if they're wanting 20 for it, and you're into it for 10, it's going to kill all your profit. You wait them out. Is that what you do? And that could be why a lot of us have items that are just kind of sitting around, because some people are just wanting to flip that item. They're not interested in the long game. they're trying to flip their item fast. And those buyers who are looking for a good deal, people are online right now trying to find good deals rather than going to their local box store. And they're finding good deals, but those deals are way underpriced as to what the market may have been when you source the item. So it's a decision you have to make. You see how many items have sold of that type of item per day in a 90-day period, right? If you have 100 items that have sold in 90 days, tells you about one per day is being sold. And maybe it's worth waiting it out rather than having an item that you're looking at, say 6 solds in 90 days. And now you really have to make a decision. Should I have even been in this item to begin with? And maybe you should price it low to get it out, cut your losses rather than just sitting on it. If that makes sense. Simplify is in the house. Thanks for joining us today. Ping G says, I used to send offers to all watchers, but since I'm now using promoted listings, I only send offers depending on what I get paid for the item. So, or what you paid for the item. So you should always keep that in mind. I don't know of many items I have left that I'm into for that I've spent more than $10 on. Most of my items are $5 or less if we're per item. I did spend $30 on a camcorder at a yard sale. They had, it's like they bought this camcorder, they bought the case for it, they bought the cassettes for it back in 2010. It's a Sony, what is it, a dash, whatever. But it's one of those camcorders, and it was in pristine condition. It was in great condition. They wanted, I think, 40 for it. I got them down to 30, knowing that I can get like 110, 120 for it. And it would be a relatively quick flip. And the condition this thing was in better condition than some of the comps. So I was pretty confident in that, but I try to keep my prices, my cost down so that I can make that decision comfortably. Yes, I'd like to get $30 for that item I spent $5 for, but if the current market is only supporting 20, well, I can get it down to 20, move it, and just flip that money into better merchandise, if that makes sense, or other merchandise. Backyard Mowing says something seems off with promoted, seeing the same downturn in impressions. So I don't know. Maybe they're tweaking. See, the thing is, it's not like, and I'm assuming this, so I'm assuming some competency here. It's not like eBay is just seeing a downturn in sales and saying, we'll just wait it out. I'm sure they're doing things in the background. Maybe they're tweaking things, which kind of makes me cringe a little bit, but maybe they're tweaking things. Maybe they're doing stuff to try to fix that. Because look, eBay is in the business. Oops, let me get this off of here. I'm sorry. eBay is in the business of making money. Okay. And they can fee us to death all they want. But if we're not making sales, they're not making money either. They're making it off of the monthly fees. They're charging us for the store, but they're not making it anywhere near what they need to make their stockholders happy. So they're going to do what they can to keep the money train coming in, which means they have to figure out why our sales are down as well. So hopefully they can do, I'm hoping, I'm rooting for them. Hopefully they can get the sales going, because a lot of people like myself rely on this for most of their income. Morty the One says, hello, everyone. Have you noticed USPS first class shipping has just went up again? I haven't noticed that. And maybe it's just me not really paying much of attention. I have enough room for, like first class. If I'm not charging for it, and usually I'm not on a product that's that light, I have room in my price to allow for that and still make a profit. But definitely something I'm going to take a look at. Stepmo's in the house. Thanks for hanging out with us. Nick M, that's a shame if they're going to be placing ads unrelated to items on eBay. It'll really ruin their site. Hopefully more things like pick, click will be used once they do. I just want them to return back to their roots. What eBay used to be, there was nothing wrong with it. Yes, they needed to keep up. They do need to keep up with the times, with, payments and payment methods and offers to buyers, instant payment on offers to watchers, or actually to best offers. But of course, from what I understand, watching Joe on Crazy New York Drivers channel, That ain't happening this year, even though we were told it was going to happen for the summer. So hopefully they can just do the basic stuff. That's all I want. Don't do any crazy stuff. They don't need to be whatnot. They don't need to have live auctions. Stop chasing trends and just be eBay. GT says buyer changed mind, found better price. Yeah, but it doesn't say that. It just says change mind or something else. And we know that's not the case. Chesame Stickle says, yes, it's going to upfly the quarter, but it's moving fast. Too bad sales are not fast. Yeah, let's just hope that something changes. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's, we talked about that. Maybe the weather is what the catalyst is to get these sales going, getting these people from outside in the nice weather, get them inside, bundled up in front of their computer or with their phone, sitting on the couch, bored as heck. And that's where the sales will come. I don't know. Hopefully that's what it is. Let's see. Tommy Bernard says, yep, shipping goes up every year, twice, same time. It's predictable, you know, but at what point? I mean, at what point does shipping just get so out of hand that it's not even an option anymore? I mean, is it when first class gets up to $9-10 like in 5 years from now? Or because see, we're talking about inflation, but the last time I checked, my prices that are up for sale have still stayed pretty stagnant. You know, it's not like that $20 item, you know, figure an 8% inflation. It's now being priced at like 22, 23. The market still hasn't, at least on eBay, hasn't caught up with this inflation stuff. So all these extra fees that we're paying, you know, it's cutting into our profits. Let's see. eBay shows buyers other items often cheaper, although throughout the buying process. Yes, they do. If you go and list right now, if you go and list and click on an item that you're going to sell similar, scroll down, you'll see a ton of listings. And what eBay really should do is the AI is, I think, smart enough by now where, okay, they buy your item, they go through the process to check out, and maybe show them all the accessories for that, whatever that they just bought. You know, let's say they bought an iPhone from you. Well, what about all those cases and maybe cables and things like that that would go with that item you just bought? That makes sense to me, but all it does is cause buyer confusion, and now they're at the seller's mercy when wanting to cancel that sale. And this, by the way, the seller doesn't have to cancel it, so they assume that that's going to happen. They go in here and buy this other one $5 cheaper or $20 cheaper, whatever it is. And then they find out they're now going to be stuck with two of them because this seller won't cancel. That happens too. Janice says, Miriam, I might have to go back to the grind. I hope not. And none of us like to be in the grind, but that's what this business is. Flipping is definitely a grind. Stepmost is my priority USPS from 820 to 830. That's for the padded flat rate envelopes. Nick M says, accidentally turned down an offer the other day. I was thinking the item was free shipping. Ended up offering him one of his earlier offers since I realized yesterday. Yeah, it's going to happen. You just got to take your time. There's no real rush. You have a certain amount of time to accept the offer, and just make sure that you're not offering free shipping. And then by the time you accept the offer, you know, you're dealing with making nothing or losing money. Chad Moore says, what's your some factors to take in when deciding auction or buy it now? Well, for me is if I've been sitting on that item for a while, it's time to just liquidate it, I will consider an auction, right? Like for instance, this last weekend, I have a bunch of these Halloween lights. Well, I was out and about doing the yard sales, and everyone seemed to have all their Halloween stuff already up. So I'm sitting here with this stuff in my store that if I don't get rid of, there is no way I'm selling that in November to anyone. So I put those up on auction because I just want to get rid of them. I just want to liquidate them. I don't care. Or if you have an item that you don't know the value to, you know that there is some value to it, you just can't find it, there's a chance it could be a rare item. And by putting it as an auction, now you're letting the market dictate what that rare item could be worth. I had some patches, you guys know the story. I've sold some of these patches for over $100+ that if I would have just put up for $5, $6 a piece, they would have still sold, but I would have lost all those opportunities. So, the comps are going to tell you. If you look up the item, you see consistent sales for that item. If you put that item up for auction, you're going to end up, in most cases, to get less for it than you would for a buy it now. So most items you want to use buy it now because you will get closer to the market price than you would if you sold it by auction, if that makes sense. But lack of market could mean rarity. And that's when you may want to consider putting that up as auction. Let's see. I'm avoiding the side chats, so I'll get to what some of you guys are talking about here. Just Janice says, I think the issue is that peeps are dialing back and the want items to get the must-haves or the need items, right? A lot of need items are still selling. And like I just picked up this Galaxy S10 phone and it was in the box, didn't have a charger. The guy wanted $20 at the yard sale. Thing powered up, was ready for a new install, has a clean IMEI. You can do a free check to see if it's, like stolen or blacklisted. And he only wanted $20 for it. Though the thing had like a little cracking on the screen, but checking against other phones, the comps are like $120. So picked it up. And I think in the past, something like that would have sold by now. And it's not I think in some cases, maybe someone wants to upgrade, or I don't think an S10 is really much of an upgrade, but I think by now, previous markets, that phone would have sold. But I'm just going to wait. I think it'll sell here. I'd be surprised if I'm still holding onto it in a week from now. Prosser says, I recently started selling Halloween costumes and they started selling quick. I still have like 3 Halloween costumes and they all are nun costumes. So anyone out there who wants to be a nun for Halloween, I'll get that thing right out in the mail and we can work a deal. Go and check out my store and I'd be glad to sell it to you. And I hate selling stuff to my viewers and talking about it, but I don't want to sit on these Halloween costumes. So you guys want to be a nun for Halloween, hit me up. I think I have 3 different kinds, or two of the same, I think maybe different sizes, and 1 different kind that has the cross and all that stuff. If you want to be a nun, there you go. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Tommy says, calculated is a sales killer. That's calculated shipping. eBay breaks it all the time, and you have zero clue it's happening. No veteran sellers that I know of use calculated. Calculated shipping? I use calculated shipping all the time on larger items. What I do is, so one, that's me. I use calculated shipping all the time on larger items because there's been many a times that you see that, well, you know what, I'll set $10 for this item to ship, and then it gets sold to someone in Florida, which for me is just the worst thing to see because I'm here out in Vegas. And now I'm on the hook for $20 shipping. Okay. And now that's going to cut into my profits pretty big time. And for me, calculated shipping is a way to, and again, there's ways you can set it up. If you set it up to pass on your discount to the buyer and then add, say, $1 in for handling, so you'll maybe have some money that you can receive for the box that you have to pay for that goes towards the bubble wrap, the tape, the poly bags that you have to pay for. It works. And if you adjust your price, now, if you're looking at an item that sells free shipping for $50, right? And you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to sell it for 50 plus calculated. Well, that's going to be the worst thing ever because now your item appears to be a $65, $70 item, if that makes sense. So you'll have to adjust your sale price for that. And for me, it's one of those things where I don't, on a remorse return, I'm not interested in returning the amount that I just spent, $15, $20 for that label. I know that Joe from Crazy New York Driver channel, he does something similar, and it's just a seller protection. Now, if you're in a market where you're not getting a lot of returns, then maybe you can reconsider that. I know, like for instance, we're talking shoes. Tommy does shoes. I think your average pair of shoes is like 10 to 12 bucks. So that's not going to kill you. But anything like really heavy, it's something that you would definitely want to consider protecting yourself so that if that return comes in, you're not stuck paying for a return label and reimbursing that outbound shipping. John B says shipping seems very expensive in the USA. The UK shipped 2 kilogram next day for $5. Yeah, just a smaller area to ship in, up there in the UK as compared to the United States. If I shipped same distance, let's say to Idaho, we have different zones out here. It's only going to be like $9, $10 to ship for a 2 to 3 pound item. Let's see. T-Town Trekker. John, what eBay doesn't tell us is traffic count to our stores. That's what I'd like to see, but they'll never do that. Well, now to our stores, generally it does. If you go into performance and under traffic, under your seller hub, it'll give you an overall look by impressions, which is your traffic. That's the number of times an item appears in somebody's search when they do best match or any other method of search. And there's other ways to get impressions, like let's say if you're using promoted listings, they'll find other creative ways, like the buyer who just bought your item. You might see me sell a similar item down below, and that's an impression as well. Page view is when they actually click on the item, and you'll see all that in this one report. So I hope that answers your question, but maybe you're referring to something else, but definitely that information's there, and it just gives you a point of reference. If, like, for instance, your traffic's down 10 to 20% from the previous month, well, then you got to figure it out. What's going on? Is it the market, or am I doing something different, than I was doing before? Do I have different kind of items? Maybe I've changed the type of item I'm selling, and all that kind of goes into it. And the reverse, if you're increasing in traffic, it's good to see, wow, I not just see that I've gone up 10 to 20% in traffic, but try to figure out why, because you want to keep doing more of that. Monster Loon, how's it going? Well, hopefully you guys will know that I'm fired up. So it's going. Tommy says, yes, Lonnie, use calculated, but it says 100%, 100K subs buying and offsetting anomalies. And I don't know. See, this is what happens. I look at some of these side conversations and I totally misinterpret them. So I will move on. KJBC Vintage. I know the economy is down, but I see items on Whatnot going for so much more than they're worth, or they could buy it on eBay for a fraction of the cost. But I've seen the opposite. If you go to Whatnot, there's a lot of people who sell like sports cards. And, I've even bought some sports cards, and it's like, wow, this graded, prospect, I can get it for $5 here. And I know that's being sold for $20 on eBay. And, had they had just taken the time to list these items on eBay, it's going to take a lot longer from them to actually get the money, maybe get the sale. But you're in some niches, you're going to see just the opposite, where they're going to make less than if they sold on eBay. Let's see. Rob Morales says, I just appreciate the information. Thank you. And I wish you luck on your business. Same to you guys. I wish everyone here the best of success. It's a learning experience always from talking to you guys. Get the great people like, Tommy and No One Design and some of these other guys that do pretty well with their eBay stores, and they take the time to come in here and to just share this information, maybe correct some of my nonsense once in a while. And it's just good. It's a good learning experience. So I appreciate that. No One Design says, don't go by eBay recommendation. Just use common sense, because eBay software does not factor in common sense. No, it doesn't, unfortunately. And we've talked about that before. But again, I'm afraid to even say anything because eBay might send me another letter. So we'll move on. Nick M says, bake it into the cost and raise it when USPS does. And I think that's what pretty much everyone does. But then you find that maybe the market hasn't adjusted. So now you're at the top or too high for that item to sell. So you just got to be very careful about that. T-Man says eBay sticks up for the buyers over sellers. They do. And I understand the philosophy. Look, we need buyers. If there's no buyers, then the sellers are all going to fail. So they've got to keep the buyers. They've got to keep the number of buyers happy. I just wish it was done in a way that was at least thoughtful to the seller, if that makes sense. Tommy says, doesn't matter if you run sales, take offers, send offers, get any returns. It's a loss on every single one of those sales. And, it's what they call the cost of doing business. So, of course, anything that you find is a loss at the end of the year when you're doing your taxes, of course, is something that's deductible from that overall number that eBay reports to the IRS. If they say you made 100,000 in sales, just know that's not the number you're going to be reporting to the IRS. All these things like returns and all the shipping supplies and the various things that you have to that get deducted from you or you have to pay for are all going to be something that you want to figure in. And I'm not a CPA, so that's just for entertainment purposes only. T-Man says, been selling on eBay for 18 years and have had enough. I think a lot of people have, but again, until there's a better alternative, there's alternatives, but there's not better alternatives, then I'm just going to keep, rolling with the punches as long as eBay hasn't suspended me and thrown me off the site for saying something, selling something that I shouldn't be selling. So, again, it's just one of those things where I'm always hopeful that someone, maybe we'll get like an Elon Musk that will jump in here and either take over one of these sites or create one that's going to get a lot of interest and traffic. But until something like that happens, which it is probably not going to happen, we're just going to have to keep working with eBay if we want to. Now you can quit the reselling game altogether, but don't mistaken the idea that you're going to be able to go to Mercari or Poshmark and replicate the kind of sales that you think are slow right now. It's going to be even slower on those other sites. I mean, if you're looking for the same amount of return, because you can, like me, I made 5 sales a day on Mercari, but those are heavily discounted where I'm just recouping my cost and a little bit, maybe $5-6, and I'm happy with that, right? Some people aren't happy with that, and they're going to sit on that same item waiting for that unicorn to come, and that's cool if that's your business model. But for me, I would rather just churn. Let's get that item. Let's give it a little time. Let's give it a little time to marinate with the market. But if that doesn't work, I'm just trying to find ways to move it. Let's see if I can catch up. I'm always behind you guys in chat here. Let's see if I can skip forward here. T-Man says eBay makes it too easy for buyers who don't read listings properly and just go off pictures to get full refunds and keep the item. Well, that I agree with you. That last part is not ever happened to me. No buyer has ever kept the item and got a full refund. And the reason why that happens is because either we're not looking at these notifications, we're not acting upon these notifications when a buyer wants to return your item. We maybe just weren't looking at it, we didn't see it, but we want to pay attention to that. And once we get back the item, we have the option to inspect it, make sure it's exactly what we sold the buyer. And most of us have the option for that refund tool where we can adjust it up to 50%. And I know that's not going to fix when a buyer swaps out an item and you feel ripped off, but you can't not act upon a return request, because that's exactly what will happen. The buyer will be able to keep their money and the item, and that's just horrible. Eddie says, I am doing a 50% off sale on Prime Day, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday. Hopefully I'll get sales boost. You'll probably get a sales boost for sure. Not everyone is going to know that your store is actually doing that, but when they're searching for that one item and they come across the 50% markdown coupon or whatever you're going to do, that's definitely going to persuade them to buy your item over someone else's. So if you can manage to do that to where you're not taking a loss, that's definitely a good idea. And Allison says it's Thanksgiving here in Canada today, so it's been relaxing, tweaking listings and posting new listings. Awesome, Allison. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Do you guys do the same thing that we do here in the States? We break out the turkey, the cranberry sauce, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, and just feast out. And we're so wiped out by the end of the day that we really don't have any energy to do anything because we ate too much. Or is it just like any other day? I'm kind of curious about that. Lori says, I have about a third of my listings cross-posted to Etsy and lately have many days where Etsy sales are better than eBay. It does happen. T-Man says, my eBay sales are on niche items that aren't available from other sellers. And that's good. I mean, to have an item that's unique is it lets you create almost your own market. Regina Rice says, I promote all listings, but also utilize best offer option on all. Not much money coming back to me after the sale, especially with low dollar items. What is your lowest price point before offering best offer? Well, like let's say I'm into an item for $2. I don't want to be into that for, and that's $2. Let's say free $2, and let's say $10 free shipping is probably the lowest I would ever consider on that item, because I'm going to spend $4. Now, if it's I'm talking if it's like 8 ounces or less, spend about $4 something on that label, and after eBay fees, I'm going to make $3 to $4 for it. So that's not all that exciting to me. And you know, if I have a bunch of those items, like all those toys I bought, I'm looking to maybe make $3, $4 per item when it's all said and done. And that allows me some room to work with, you know, from where it's at. Yes, I'd like to get $20 per item, but that's not what's going to move all those items. So if it's a one-off, you have a little bit more room to say, no, I'm not going to take that offer. I can sit and wait. But really, to me, and every seller is different. It's what is your game plan? Is it just to accumulate? And some people believe, look, I want to have a 4,000 to 5,000 item store, and in theory, you'll sell one per every 100, and that's good. You can move 50 items a day, and you're churning, and you have a lot of inventory, but you're making it work. That's one strategy. Another strategy is, look, I just want to move these items because, look, if the item's not a hot item, it's going to sit. If it's a hot item, it's going to sell. I don't have to do much to it. But if it's not a hot item, I'm going to have to work with it more to get rid of it, learn not to buy it again, and reinvest that money right away so I can make yet another sale. It's getting a lot of sales and building a lot of momentum in your store. And generally, those sellers don't have thousands of items in their store. So it just depends on the overall picture as well, too. That's going to help answer that question. If it flips, it ships. Seems like every day an offer will come in, and when you counter, no sales. And when I accept sales, seem to come in. You know, there's many times I will just send out offers, not with the intention of persuading someone to buy my item, but to help with the algorithm. Because if you send out an offer, many times you'll see that I've sent an offer for that item, offer them $2 off, and a couple hours later, it just sold at full price. So that's the main reason why I like to send out offers to watchers. Tommy says reselling is hard, and isn't it for everyone? Well, I don't think it's hard. I think it's not. It's all the different aspects of flipping or reselling is somewhat easy. You know, I think the hardest thing to do is to get used to the listing tool, especially when they throw a new one at us, right? But all the steps along the way are somewhat easy, but you add them all together and there's so much room for error. You could screw it up, and it isn't for everyone. I've had a number of people just either refuse to do it or they quit. And, you know, I'm talking about people who've, you know, had one guy worked on, you know, some of these jets we have flying around out here. You know, he just didn't want to do it. And he just basically quit. But I think he ended up going back to work even after he retired to go, you know, work on these jets and stuff. Yeah, a lot more money involved there, but it's like, you know, you got to pick your poison. I think you have a lot more freedom when it comes to reselling, and that's the what lulls everyone over to trying it. And they expect it to be a lot easier than their 9 to 5, and then they find out otherwise. It still work. Stepmo says, before Lululemon, I'm sorry, good used condition bottom is hot cake on eBay, and now buyers ask for $10. What's up, eBay? Well, it's because people are seeing that it's slow and they're willing to go race to the bottom. And so when they race to the bottom, it alters the market, and now your $20 Lululemon, whatever, is now not going to sell until you bring it down to 10, or you just wait on it. Ping G says, if my price is at least $10, I won't make an offer unless I have had the idea for years and it just won't go. Well, or the item for years. Yeah, it's I don't wait that long. I mean, I wanted to, and I keep talking about the 60-day process. I just need to implement it. I may not try to mess with it much until the beginning of the year, where first 30 days, eBay only. The next 30 to 60 days, it's cross posted. And then after 60 days, we're just liquidating it, right? But, the market isn't great. And I think in an average market, that would work. Otherwise, you can get a lot of 99-cent listings that don't get any bids at all. And I think that's the mistake that I might run into. The goal is I want to at least recoup what I put into the item. Otherwise, I just rather wait and sit on that item until at least I can get a discounted sale on it on a buy it now listing. T-Man says my resales are 200% markup on buy it now. Don't do offers. And if it works for you, that's the method you need to keep doing. But if you're running into slower sales, you need to fix something. Something's got to change. Tommy says, if eBay uses global sales drop or sees global sales drop, you will see them run coupons, promotions, 5 to 10% off. And, you just gotta, adding a sale, adding a coupon, even to your listings will increase your traffic. Now, will that force the buyer to buy the item? No, but at least you're getting the traffic to your listing. Just Fact says, with basic programming skills, you can create a desktop program with a product like, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Zojo, that will randomly visit eBay items and inflate their views by rotating your IP. Think what eBay can do. Yeah, they can do a lot. If they need to show their investors what they're doing, they can manipulate if they need to. And I'm not saying they're doing that, but they could. But you'd think that they would take that technology and actually at least pump that up into the actual selling experience on eBay before they did something like that. If it flips its ship, says Wednesday finally end and did sell similar and had 8 sales that day, but then poop. How much do you want to bet there's not letting sales go through? The stock is crashing. Maybe they have a short position. I don't know. I thought eBay was doing well with their stock as compared to, say, Amazon. Maybe it's flip-flop. Maybe I'm wrong. Gail says UPS prices went up temporarily for the holiday season on packages. Well, I need to check into that. But, to me, it's still around, my 3-pound item, still around $12, $13, $14 to ship to the other side of the country. So that's still fine with me. And a lot of those items, the buyer's paying for anyway on that shipping label. T-Man says eBay sold out to bigger investors. They'll never go back to their roots at 3.5 overall fees. Oh, that'll never happen. And I think the market on, let's say, Mercari is charging 20. I think Poshmark's charging 20, and it's just the norm now. Just something you have to get used to. But at some, we're talking about percentages. So at some point, there's got to be a limit to that. I mean, no one's going to sell on eBay if they charge 50%, unless eBay was willing to do all the work. So they're going to have to find, because it's based on percentages and not a dollar amount, at some point, it's going to have to change. Something's going to have to, stop. They're not going to be able to keep adding percentage points to what they currently charge. Let's see. Just Fact says eBay has never been up to the times. They are not innovative at all. They stole early online auction patents, pictures and listings, delayed listings, listing software were all invented by others. And, I don't doubt that at all. I've been part-time on eBay since 2002 up until 2019. So being in line with all the eBay news, I was just your average weekend seller. Here and there, I'll find something, I'll sell. And I didn't care to look at policies. I just did what I did. And I didn't really start diving into eBay until really middle of 2019 when I was full-time. Tommy Bernard says, I love it. I hope reselling gets harder all the time. Weed out the weak. Yeah, less sellers on the platform is better for us sellers who stick with the program and just roll with the punches. I might come on here and, complain, give my, what I think is honest feedback about eBay and their shenanigans, but it just to inform a lot of the sellers and to vent, I guess. But it's doing it in a way that's honest, and it's not going to, it's going to chase some sellers away. Unfortunately, it's not my intention, but hearing a lot of bad news is going to make sellers go away. And I guess you can look at it as, well, more sales for me. And that's kind of the way it works out, because the more sellers you have and the fewer buyers, the harder it is to make money as you may have used to. Let's see. I do it for my children. Says, I wish eBay had a mount made like Poshmark does. That would help make a decision on offers faster. Sell a lot on Posh because of this feature, like a set amount that they're going to take. Like if you sell this, if you accept this offer, you're going to get this. And the eBay doesn't do that. So you have to kind of do the math in your head. I get what you're saying. Tommy says, problem is the person running the eBay store. eBay isn't the problem. People can't accept the fact that they're in control of their own demise. Yes, I agree with that 100%. eBay doesn't choose what you're selling. eBay doesn't choose what rate that you're placing in your promoted listings. eBay doesn't choose that you decided to overprice your item. eBay didn't run past your listing and take a photo, and maybe you had the listing on your bed, so it's showing all your sheets are all wrinkled up, but the item's somewhere in the middle there. eBay didn't choose a lot of the things that you decided to source, so you got to take the blame. I only blame eBay when they're out of line, like doing things they shouldn't be doing. That's where I blame eBay. eBay provides us with traffic. So if they're throttling an account for whatever reason with traffic, that's an eBay thing. That's not a seller thing. Now, maybe eBay figures that a certain seller can only handle so much views and page views and all that. But I just think eBay should be a little bit more in touch with their sellers. And I think that they would make a lot of changes. If they really canvass the sellers to find out what we really want, there would be a lot of things different on the site. And that just makes it easier to do all the things that we should have been doing in the first place to be successful resellers. Let's see. Anthony Lutz says, I started selling on eBay a couple weeks ago. I sold 4 items within a week. Haven't had a sale in a week now. I see comps in the same items sell for higher priced. I priced all my items competitively. Yeah, I don't know how many items you have. If you have enough, like 100 items or more, maybe start looking into getting a store so you can do the coupons, the markdown sales, things like that. Be active on your account, be consistent every day, because you might have great prices, you might have great items, and eventually they're going to sell. But if you're looking for a faster, turnaround time, you got to be consistent. Daily activity on eBay is definitely going to help you out a lot. Let's see what else we got here. eBay breaks the calculator when doing updates a lot. I've shown it on live streams many times. Bearded Poke Tuber says, just made a flat rate shipping policy based on each pound rate. Use Pirate Ship to calculate how much it would cost to get to zone 7 and 8 from you. Use that price as your flat rate shipping amount. And you could do that. You could do that and set that price, and there's nothing wrong with it. But what's happening is the person that's maybe a state away from you is going to be paying a little bit more. And it could make that, if they're looking, someone over in California from me might be looking at a different item, but the fact that I have a little bit better shipping rates for them because I'm using calculated might make the difference in saving them that extra $2 or $3. Eddie says, I'm upgrading to a Motorola Edge 30 Ultra and I'm buying a UPerfect X Mini to connect to. This enables me to take photos with my phone and plug into the Perfect X Mini and start listening. Awesome. Let's see. LSGS Rob says, calculated is the best way. When I sold electronics, I did calculated plus a handling fee from $4 on the low and $15 on the high end. You should never pass your discount on as you lose money on shipping. I do because the eBay charges the fees on that, but I have enough padded in. Again, the key is having the lower sourcing cost. You can buy your items I figured like all the stuff that I bought brand new was less than $1 per piece. That allows you a lot of room, and I can pass on, they're paying for shipping on the larger items, and I'm probably they're paying me 15, probably only getting like 14, and I'm still going to be paying 14 for that label because I charge that extra dollar in the handling, if that makes sense. Ping G says shipping items from California to the East Coast is expensive, so I can fit the items in a regional rate. Put the weight 2 pounds for the A box and 5 for the B box, so it appears less. See if I can catch up here because we're going to get winding down here. Bernie Higgins says, is there a way to change all eBay listing shipping costs all at once? Have a bunch of listings, so it's going to take them a while to increase shipping on each item. Yeah, you go into your bulk. So you go into your seller hub and go into listings, your active listings, and you'll select, go down to the left side, and you'll select under actions. There's a box. You click it and go edit, and it'll give the option to select edit selected or all your listings. Now, you can actually sort your listings by how much you're currently, if you have your listings set up, you can sort it by how much you're charging for shipping. So maybe your $4.99 shipping, you want to change to $5.99. So you do a sort by that and then select all those listings and then do a bulk edit on that. Another way is you can go into it, and this is probably the faster way. I don't know why I told you to do it that way. Go into a listing that has, let's say, your $4.99 listing policy. Go and edit the listing, go down to where the policy is and click on edit, and then change that policy to where now instead of charging $4.99, you just say $5.99, and then it'll say, give you a little blurb that it's going to affect all the listings using this policy, and just click OK. And that's actually the better way, not that stupid way I just told you. So I apologize for that. Let's see here. Just Fact says, G, what I do know is with nearly quarter century selling online plus years of working for a wholesaler and 2 wholesaling companies, talking about something, but again, I clicked on something I should have. Chesamine Stickle says, Bernie, if you have a policy, you can change the dollar amount there and it flows through all the listings. That's what I just, had you do. See what we got here, if we have any other questions. And we have a special person that we're blocking here. Just don't like the name. And Tommy says, Dad, is that you? That's pretty funny. Talking about a lot of regional rate stuff. And I know that a lot of regional rate stuff is coming to an end. And I don't have a lot of experience dealing with regional rate boxes. I deal with the regional padded flat rate envelope, and that's it. I don't have any of that. I don't have any of those boxes. I just don't use them. I never have had seen a benefit. Now, it depends on what you're selling, I guess. But for me, don't really even use those boxes. Let's see. So I see no more questions. Then what I was hoping to get at least another question here, but I don't have any more questions unless you guys want to drop me a question. Otherwise, we're going to sort of wind this down. We're almost at an hour and a half of this, and it's just awesome that you guys are taking the time. I mean, for some of you, it's a day off. Maybe you do this full time or part time, and today happens to be a holiday for you. Yet we have 124 people watching, and I think that's really awesome. But eBay is going to make some changes here. They're going to keep making changes. They're going to keep doing things like adding their own little advertisements into our listings, maybe doing it in a way where it hurts the buying experience, and hopefully they'll see that as a detriment and maybe change their ways. And I'm not 100% optimistic that that's going to happen, but I can at least hope. But yet it's just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want each and every one of you guys to enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great start to your week. And let's hope that our sales collectively will start moving in the right direction. And you guys will hear from me very soon. If you're going to the seller conference out here in Vegas, hit me up at flippingainteasy2020@gmail.com. I'm going to try to be down there Wednesday. And if I don't see you, we'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care, everyone.